What is up, YouTube? This is T-Quint1 coming at you with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about Creed. Now, before I start, I have a bit of a confession to make. I am not overly attached to the Rocky franchise. I've really only seen the first one all the way through, and even then, that was years ago. That was like 2008, so I barely remember it, even though I remember enjoying it, at least. But that being said, I feel like because of that, I can look at this movie objectively without any previous attachment to the other films in the series. And that being said, this film is still absolutely incredible. I was amazed at just how good this movie turned out to be. And I knew it was going to be good, but I had no idea the level it could reach. Starting with the boxing, which is incredibly brutal and visceral. These fight scenes are absolutely incredible. When someone is punched, you feel the impact of that punch. Uh, like I winced a couple times in the movie, and I have a pretty high violence threshold when it comes to fiction. So that actually shocked me how incredible and brutal this violence got, even though there wasn't all that much gore. The performances really are excellent all around. Starting with Michael B. Jordan, I was a little skeptical of him because I hadn't really seen him in anything but Four Stick. But that being said, he was absolutely wonderful in this film as this sort of troubled young man. And one thing I really loved about him is he's not just Black Rocky. He actually has a difference there. This whole film isn't just Rocky remade with a black person. It's very much like its main character. It stands on its own merits. It is an absolutely wonderful film. It's emotional and heartfelt. There's a couple scenes in here that really did get me choked up, particularly the ending. And there's a couple scenes with Sylvester Stallone early on. Speaking of that, Sylvester Stallone, I'm guaranteeing he's going to be up for Best Supporting Actor. He was incredible in this film. There's a really good soundtrack here as well. It's a little hip-hoppy for my taste, but it is still very good and fitting. The orchestral score, though, is absolutely fantastic. It really is. Very good. It's a I don't want to call this a feel good movie because the characters go through ups and downs. It's kind of like life in that regard. Not everyone is happy 24/7 in this film, but you walk away from it really pumped up and just feeling good. So if you're looking for an experience like that, I would definitely recommend it. Now the acting in the film really like a lot of these people. I looked them up. They're not even actors. They're like boxers, legitimately, and they were still really good. Particularly the opponent. I don't want to call him an antagonist because he's really a very human character. That he doesn't seem like evil or cartoonish like I've heard some of the other Rocky villains are, like Clubber Lang or whoever Dolph Lundgren played. I don't know the Russian guy. But yeah, the antagonist in this film, who really doesn't come in until toward the end. Um, he was very good in it. There's a lot of heart in this film. That sounds really cheesy, but it just really does hit you on an emotional level that I frankly wasn't expecting. There are several scenes in this movie where I mean the audience around me was crying at the end, and even before the end, there's so many scenes in here that are just incredible. The 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 camera work. Oh my God. There's one scene where it's a boxing match, and it's essentially all one shot. It doesn't really cut, and you see them like pushing each other into corners and throwing each other around the ring without cutting. You just see it almost like you were observing it in real life. This director, I can guarantee you, he is going places. I've never seen Fruitvale before. I've heard some very good things about it. His previous film, Fruitvale Station, but this film was absolutely wonderful. In terms of negatives, I don't know if I can really think of any. The first third, looking back on it, at the time I thought it was a little slow, but looking back on it, it's the exact pace it really needs to be for this film. So, all in all, I will say Creed is just an absolutely mind-blowing film. I would highly recommend it, of course, and it's one of the best I've seen all year. And this has been a pretty damn good year for films, in my opinion. So, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. And if you're considering going to see any movie this weekend, I would definitely say Creed. I know Mockingjay, everybody wants to see that. See Creed, okay? You will not regret it. This is T-Quint1 signing out.